The idea of a black swan is that they simply weren't supposed to be possible. Nobody planned around seeing a black swan because all swans were white. The good old days, right? Well, you can't say gold price has been boring lately. In the last few weeks, there have been buying opportunities and there have been selling opportunities. So something for everyone as far as gold goes. This, of course, looking past the current geopolitical crises, it's almost getting difficult to follow which direction gold is going. And that, of course, is because of what's going on, because of what I just said we were going to look past for a minute, but trend doesn't typically turn on a dime. But in the last 3 weeks, it's done that twice. So we're going to look at what it's up to now and what it might do next, at least to the extent that we can guess. Before we get back to it, if you're looking for precious metals, hit up SD Bullion. New customers even get gold and silver for spot. That's sdbullion.com/new. As I'm recording this, spot is hanging at around 1925. We're going to hear that run called a surge because gold was just making a run the other direction, pushing close to the 1700s just a few days ago. As far as price action goes for gold, this is pretty chaotic. $100 price swing, which comes out to about 5.5% change, is a relatively big deal. As I pointed out in my last video, we saw 6% gains in gold price immediately following the 9/11 attacks. 6% gains in gold immediately following Russia invading Ukraine. And now we're looking at a 5.5% and climbing bump following the Hamas attack in Israel. These are all terrible events. None of us really want to use these as data points. And I'm not sure that you'd call them a black swan event because they're not global events, but they definitely have global implications. So on the one hand, these price swings are significant. It makes sense to pay attention if you care at all about what you're spending to accumulate gold. But on the other hand, it's more proof that none of us has a line on what's coming at any time. These black swan events, they're completely unpredictable. And regardless of the scale, all we can really do here is try to buy more when the price is on the way down and less when the price is on the way up. And that, of course, messes with scheduled purchases. Now, gold started the year at $1,823. It rallied pretty much right out of the gate, but then it gave up those gains. We saw it rally again, almost hit an all-time high, and then it gave up the gains a second time. So here we are again heading up. The current rally puts gold up about 5.5% for the year. What we haven't seen yet is a rally based on Fed policy change. If anything, we've seen the opposite. Most analysts, they were expecting to see that happen in 2023. So with that pushing out to 2024 at a minimum, we're going to continue to see rallies. We're going to continue to see pullbacks. And that's great if you've been at it for a while. You have a base. It allows you to be patient. But it could seem a little bit alarming if you're new to this whole thing. If you're in that second camp, if you're new to it, just know that the current rally is due to Israel's response. It's very clear. A ground invasion into Gaza is coming soon. So looking at the gold price when Russia invaded Ukraine, well, the price of gold spiked to its highest level just shy of 2 weeks later. But it had given up that gain within 2 months, and then it continued to slump the rest of the year, so we can see that rally didn't hold over the long term. Now, that doesn't mean that the prices are going to be lower on Monday. I was talking more about months than days, but we did see Friday rallies after the Russian invasion of Ukraine. A little bit of weekend insurance, I guess. So we can't superimpose events. History doesn't repeat itself. Sometimes it rhymes. Paraphrasing Mark Twain there. Maybe we'll see something similar happen this year, but that move that will more likely sustain higher prices, that's interest rates being cut. Fed loosening its policy, and that's a little ways out yet. We're seeing persistent inflation. It means greater chance of another rate hike, actually. So that would normally send gold price down, but all of that is buried below the current geopolitical crises. So if you're just here to kind of work through what's currently going on with gold prices, where these swings are coming from, well, I think that pretty much sums it up so far. But I know there are a lot of people who really just don't care about price swings. They're buying consistently. That tends to average out the cost. I would almost say that the important part of what we've been seeing in terms of short-term price movement is that if you've been waiting for a chance to buy at a discount, well, you just had it. You had a window of about 2 weeks. And if you've been waiting for a chance to sell, I know there's some people who are, well, you have that again happening right now too. Now, overall, this is a pretty narrow trading band. We're looking at about 6% from the recent bottom to where we are at the moment. But like I mentioned earlier, if all you're worried about is the spot price of gold, well, we're seeing something for everyone. But look, where this gets important is longer term. These Black Swan events are coming up a lot more frequently. We saw one in 2020 with the pandemic, 2022 with Russia invading Ukraine, 2023 with Hamas attacking Israel. That is a much faster clip than we typically see. These are tragic events. It's almost like they're becoming less surprising though. And if anything, the trend for them, it's on the rise. And I'm not saying that to create some kind of low-level panic, some kind of anxiety. It's just an observation about gold safe haven benefits that people have tended to question lately. And if you're on that side of the fence, I've already mentioned this, you're seeing a pretty good selling price. It's a good time to get out, as good a time as any, I guess. Now, I would say, though, that having some crisis insurance is a little bit more important right now than it has been in really a long time. That means more than just having some gold to me, but gold's a pretty good start. So you want to know where the price of gold is going right now? Well, nobody can tell you. I ran through what happened with the Russian invasion of Ukraine last year, what's not happening with Fed policy this year, how that's probably coming next year, but I couldn't tell you if we're going to see more surprise events or not. It's the whole idea of a surprise, but that is where having a non-zero position in a safe haven asset probably makes some pretty good sense. And that's all I got. So let's call it good there. Let us know what you think. Are you still buying? Are you counting your current rainy day fund, just holding and waiting for the next price drop? Let us know. And then while you're in the comments, be sure to hit that like button if you found any of this interesting. Be sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on if you'd like to see more on the topic. And if you're still here, thanks again for watching. I always appreciate your time. Take care.